Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I am talking about small parrot myths, misconceptions that people have about keeping small parrots and small parrots in general, and just generally a lot of the stuff that people say about small parrots that just isn't true. I've got a chip and fish joining me because cockatiels suffer from this the most. People are often just mislabeling them and all sorts of things. So we're going to explore that topic in this video right now. So let's start with the most common one, and that's one you probably would have heard in the pet store or online loads. That is small bird equals small cage. I would strongly disagree with that. Just because a parrot's small, it doesn't mean they need a smaller cage. Maybe proportionally, but then you should be keeping your macaws in huge aviaries if you're in a home setting. Small parrots need lots of space, they need lots of enjoyment. Basically, we try to see parrots cages in bedrooms, and no one likes small bedrooms. These guys need a decent sized cage, and some of them, especially species like Budgies, can even fly in them. So you need to provide the biggest cage size you can as possible to give these guys the best home environment you can. Now, this next one's one of my favourites, and that is small bird equals easier. I couldn't disagree with this more strongly. I've worked with larger parrots, I've worked with mediums, I've worked lots with small parrots, and I can tell you, these guys are not easier. They take just as much work, just as much training. You still need to give them the proper diet. Everything about these are not easy. You need to just do all the work to give them the best lives possible. And when you're training a macaw or training a cockatiel, it's basically the same principles. And yeah, I mean, what are maybe some sort of individual differences like portion sizes of treats and how they move? All of them need the same amount of effort and need to put it in, otherwise they're not going to have a very good life with you. This is probably my least favourite misconception about small parrots, and that is that small parrots are less valuable, they're less worthy than big parrots, and just generally worthless. You see this a lot with like basically booking consultations with us, for example. People just don't want to bother with it for small parrots. Or you see it with vet visits, where people just don't want to take their small parrots to the vet because they're not worth it, you know, they're less valuable, they're only small, who cares, just replace them. I really dislike this misconception about these guys. They're every bit as valuable as their bigger counterparts. I hope anyone who watches my channel will see that, you know, and how amazing they are. And it's just sad that people have this perception that bigger equals more valuable, you know. Maybe for us, when we have a bigger house, sure, but sometimes value comes in small packages, you know, like a tiny diamond. That's worth a lot, but it's very small. I love this one. This is probably a good one. Small parrot equals quieter. These guys are not quieter. Yes, you can have massive noise from macaws and cockatoos, but even these little guys can generate a lot of noise, and this is something that people often buy small parrots and are unaware of. Conures are a great example. They get a small conure thinking it's going to be quiet. Oh, they've heard online it's going to be quiet. They're not quiet. Small parrots are every bit as noisy as their big counterparts because they're parrots. They like to vocalise, they're flock species, they love to communicate with each other. It's completely natural for them. These guys constantly wick, Budgies will constantly chatter. They're not quiet by any means. If they are quiet, I'd be a bit suspicious of that, if they're up to no good or if there's something going on there. That small parrots are stupider than their larger counterparts. I mean, I hope I've proved this again and again with all the training we do with our parrots, just how intelligent they can be, how smart they can be. And yes, you can say that larger parrots do have a slightly higher level of intelligence in some ways, but in others, I would disagree with that entirely, you know. Small parrots are capable of tricks, they're capable of vocalisation, they're capable of mimicry, they're capable of learning our routines and reacting to them, they're emotionally sensitive. Small parrots are not stupider than their larger counterparts. They're not stupid, they're very, very smart. But you can see the sort of stuff people can get their small budgies to do. So imagine all that processing power packed into that tiny little brain. And just because the brain is small doesn't mean it's not packing more power in there. Think of an equivalent to a big computer or a mobile. Some mobiles have a lot of power in them. Think of that analogy of a small parrot. Small parrots don't need a specialised diet. You can just feed small parrots seed and that's all you need. Again, this comes from this belief they're less valuable, less effort. Not true. In the wild, just like all sorts of animals, they will eat all sorts of different things, and we've covered this on diet loads and loads on the channel, so I'd highly recommend. I'll leave a little link now in the cards actually so you can explore diet with them a bit more. But they need a varied diet, they need all sorts of different fun things in their diet. Maybe the portion sizing should be a bit smaller. You don't want to be giving like massive bundles of grapes to conures, for example, but they all need lots of variety and lots of different foods to thrive and be happy. Small birds are easier to tame. About the same, I'd say, really. You know, small birds do have their own issues, do have their own personality traits, species traits. Sometimes you do need to put extra effort into taming them, and some of the traditional techniques may work in the short term, mostly the forcing techniques. However, over time, you're just going to degrade trust with your bird. You're not going to have the kind of friend relationship you want with them. So do keep that in mind when you're bonding with your bird. They're not that much easier to tame than the bigger one. Again, I don't want to kind of make people think, oh yeah, bigger one's going to be easy or not. It's basically equivalent. So be prepared whatever way you go. And my final point on this is something I've touched on earlier in the video, and that is that small parrots don't need to go to the vet. That, you know, it's just do home treatment. You don't need to take them to the vet. They're not valuable. Just replace them. It's all life. It's irreplaceable, really. You know, it's up to your perception how you want to treat that. My moral sort of view is I want to do the best. If I'm looking after them, I want them to thrive. I will do whatever is necessary to keep them that way. If you've got a small bird, they just should be going to the avian vet just like a big one. You know, they need to do it basically if necessary. So guys, hope you enjoyed this video on small parrot myths. If you have any others you'd like to drop in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. But in the meantime, from me, fish and chip, see you later and have a really nice day.